what? I believe in the right timing for me. So even if things aren't working out for me as quickly as I would want them to, I know within the right time, I'm going to receive the relationship that I'm supposed to be in. So I'm not doing the most with like putting out an ad. Cause to be honest, like if I went online and I saw that a woman had posted an ad for a husband or whatever, it just gives desperate to me. And that sounds bad, but that's just how I look at it. And if I was also to do that, I would also think that there would be a lot of men that would look at the ad and have the same thought, like, wow, this woman put out an ad to find a husband, like that's pretty desperate. There are men that would like running at the chance to like, approach that woman and try to be the husband, but I'm sure that there's another percent of people that would be like, that is weird as hell. I'm just that percent of people.
I'll let one of y'all. I'll let one of y'all because I already know. I feel like I know what Rome is going to say.
Go ahead, Rome.
Rome is still here.
I feel that one, pride will leave you homeless. Pride will leave you lonely. I feel like there's a lot of women. I won't say just women. There are a lot of people that are worried about this whole shame thing, and it's just a figment of your imagination because fear is not real. All right. And you can't worry about what other people think because at the end of the day, again, Netflix only has so many shows. You can only eat so much ice cream by yourself. You can only worry about your other friend's relationship. You can only go to so many weddings by yourself. You could always only be a third wheel for so long. When is it time to invest in like what you want for yourself?
But I think that that's a problem if you are doing all of those things. Some people are happily single waiting for their right relationship. Like I'm not sitting at home crying, eating ice cream.
I didn't say anything about tears.
That I have to go to weddings alone. Like
But you
I don't
understand-
know, but that's not what single looks like for everyone. So some people aren't as desperate to get out there and put out an ad for a husband.
But you calling it desperation though. It may not be desperation. That may be your effort because again, she was tired of the dating apps. So she's literally saying, okay, I've exhausted my options. I've seen what's in this app. I would like to put out an ad, and whoever's got the database, like a matchmaker or so, that matches my qualifications, and please get back to me. That way you save yourself a lot of time. And again, I know you're in your 20s.
I was about to say, maybe that person doesn't have that much time.
Hope
maybe they are in like
strategy.
Yeah,
we
hope
have
ain't strategy.
we have the age of this person because maybe they are an older person and that's why they have exhausted all other options. But yes, me as a 27-year-old woman,
Mhm.
I'm not that's not an option for me. I don't.
Can I interject if you don't mind?
Yeah.
I think that's what's missing. Rome is speaking from a place of like women who want marriage and are likely satisfied in all the other areas in their life, but and they are waiting, but that's what they're still seeking,
Mhm.
you know.
Missing,
And
craving.
yeah, and as opposed to just waiting, it's like, why would you not invest?
And control your destiny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's right. Invest in what it is you really want because it's very tiring. Think about it. When you're older, I'll say past like 32, like to be out at the happy hour, to meet people, like it's expensive. And it's just a lot. You know what I mean? Like you can just go home and go to sleep.
Mhm.
So if you put the ad out, you can stay home in your bed and relax and then just wait for the flow of people to come in. You know, I mean, it's probably working smarter, not harder.
Yep.
But I'm looking at that from someone not in my 20s.
Mhm.
And I think that's what the
Yeah.
what the
And I'm not saying-
That's
is.
where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
Obviously,
My timeline has so many women saying, I've done the right thing. I have a 6-figure job. I've got, what's someone with an M? I got a master's degree.
With the
And
I got one of them.
learning moment.
But they say this and they say, I just want someone to share my life with. They're not even saying, I want a husband anymore. They've even changed their language. I just want somebody to share
Oh,
my
at this
life
point,
with.
it's better to just share your life. Don't get married.
They're not even looking for a husband. They're saying like,
keep your
something like
assets to yourself.
And I think that,
companionship. Yeah.
and
But you 20,
I believe,
live on that hope, girl.
I believe this, right? I believe-
but it's just sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me get this out before he gets away with that comment and that slick grin that he just did. Because you're saying that to me as if waiting on hope is wrong. Like, no, I am young enough to feel like what's for me will eventually come for me.
Mm-hmm.
I am not
Don't-
interested in putting out an ad at this time of my life.
You don't need to. You're in your 20s. You're bad. Look at your body. You look at your face. You got everything going
Tell
for
them.
you.
Where's his camera?
She's beautiful.
But
Look at
you
her
want to
body,
be
look at her
married
face.
and with a kid.
This
No, no.
ad's my ad.
Wait,
This is
but
my ad.
listen, Amanda, you actually, most women your age don't want to be married at this age. That's the thing. You at this age, you actually want to be married and with a kid. Most women don't.
I would like to be married.
With a
Not
kid.
I would like
don't
a kid.
don't set up here and
No,
lie
no.
now. You
No,
done
no,
told
no.
us this.
okay. What I said was I want to be kid. That's what I said.
Oh, you don't want to be married. You just want a kid?
No, I do want to be married. But
I know donors.
No, but to be honest, I've never really
Skeeters.
been one to be like, I gotta get married first, and then I have to have a baby. And like,
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
Honestly,
we on
if I-
something else.
if I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant.
Let me
Oh, shit.
what and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gathered this. You said something that really triggered a thought, and I realized that you can't be happily single and happily married, or you can't be happily single and expect for that to transition to happily married. Because when you're happily single, you're selfish. You're only caring about you. You only think about what your desires are. You don't have to consider nothing outside of you. So when you're happily single, you can't even seek marriage.
It's hard.
You can't even see if somebody is fit to be your actual spouse. So the problem is when
Excellent
you
point.
get to that point in your life, it could be 27, it could be 40, it could be 50. When you get to that point in your life, it's like, well, guess what? I am no longer happily single. Now I want and desire and need a marriage to feel fulfilled in my life. So it could be a time thing, but I just think it's a maturity thing.
But I think that that's different for people who want to date intentionally, because you can meet someone and you can like them, and then suddenly your whole perspective changed. Yeah, you were happily single and you were selfish and you didn't have to think about anybody, but you like this person and you're starting to love this person so much that you're changing your ideas. And yeah, you want to do this for this person and you're changing your ideas for this person. So it's a little different because your mindset does change when you start to love someone. And that's that genuine kind of like love transaction that'll get you from being happily single to being happily in a relationship.
But you know what happens and why most relationships fail? Because then you get to that point where there's obstacles. You get to that point where having a relationship is tough, it's hard, and it's work. And the first thing you think about is, I was happily single. I don't need to deal with this. I don't have to settle for this. And now that relationship and the work for that relationship now becomes beneath you because you trigger and think back to when you were happily alone. So you're never going to put your best foot forward in the roughest times. For people that think that a relationship, especially a marriage, is going to be peaches and cream, sunshines and rainbows,
But
and no adversity.
that's a different conversation because when you're in a relationship, period, you always
All right,
have
Peanut Gallery.
you do have to decide what's worth it and what's not, because not everyone is going to revert back to the idea of, oh yeah, I was happily single, so I can go right back to doing what I was doing before. Not everyone's going to say that. Is this person and the trials and tribulations and the obstacles worth what we have? Some people will agree that it is and keep forward, and some people would just be like, okay, fuck it, I'm not a relationship person, so I'm just going to go back to being happily single.
I heard somebody say, right? This is real. I heard somebody say, because they were dating somebody.
Who's this somebody?
I was about to say, are you talking
talking
about
about it's
me?
real.
No.
Like, who are you talking about?
It's real,
Yeah,
but we don't know who the person
I
is.
ain't gonna put their name out there, but they were dating somebody for 1 year, and they were going through it for like the last, let's say, 2 months, right? Prior to, they said, I don't need to deal with this shit, right? This is real, right? Reality for most people. You get to that 1 year mark, you start having issues. You start thinking, if I'm having issues at 9 months or 10 months, I'm gonna have issues for the rest of my life. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
And the problem is, you go like a relationship, that relationship within 1 year period is still fresh enough where you can remember all the fun you had when you were single, all the trips you took without any issues, all the times you had girls trips and there was nobody saying, nah, I don't want you to go. I don't feel comfortable with you going X, Y, and Z. You can think back you can think
Close.
back so close.
Yeah.
It's damn near like
It was recent.
what the hell? Like, so the problem is like when you are, and I think happily single is really what I'm focused on, is because I'm not saying people who are single and, actively looking for a relationship or just chilling, but you're embracing being single. You have pride being single. It's hard for you to turn that switch off because literally you go from being a flying eagle and then your wings get clipped a little bit and now you're just walking around like a chicken. Right?
Yeah. And now we ate you.
Yeah.
You at the Popeyes.
And you mad at the person that clipped your wings.
Like
Happily
I'll be
single.
honest. Well, go ahead.
Happily single comes off as I'm super independent, and this is like my way of saying, oh, it's just me. It's just about me. It's just about me. And if that's what you want, then a relationship may not even be for you.
At that point,
Yeah.
I think once you get to that point,
I said you make the decision to decide whether the relationship is worth it, and you continue to fight for and move on.
no,
with the
but he's
relationship.
saying,
or you're just relationships aren't for me.
but that's not what he's saying.
I know,
He's
but
saying you
that's
don't
what
even
I said.
enter the relationship. In line with Alan was saying, as far as being obedient and respecting and honoring these particular obligations, is because the people in that relationship, they have had a conversation about what the expectations are and what the understanding is. So they have to be obedient to those rules. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be.
It's not a habitual thing.
Wait,
In terms of
who's a bitch?
like
You remember that
it's not-
episode of
it's
Jamie
not like-
Foxx? Okay,
it's-
nobody.
Who's a bitch? It's not like your
I
habits.
knew that was Jamie Foxx.
It is.
It's not like the habit. So let's just say if Alan comes home at 9:30 or 10 o'clock every Friday, but then the actual rule is don't come past 3 a.m. And then one weekend he stays to 2:30. He's not breaking the rules, but he did break his habit. I think those are two different things because he's setting the expectation that I'm gonna be home typically around 9:30, 10. But now you're questioning me, but I'm still following the rules. The only thing I didn't do was the same thing that I typically would do. Now, I honestly had a situation where I was with the girl and I was like, we're not working out because there's no structure in our relationship, right? I was like, I need this. We can't do this. We can't do that. And she told me, she's like, I feel like I'm in school with you. And I was like, well, this is the only way that I operate. I can't operate under this other shit that you want to do, this living freely, really. Yeah, I need
Drill
structure.
Sergeant Rico.
But I just
money.
I need structure in my relationship. I need structure in my life. I need structure in my house. Everything has to be accounted for.
Yep.
Right? And that's just how I work. So when we just live in, with too much
Spontaneity.
spontaneity. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
For
Wait,
me-
what is it?
Hold on.
Spontaneity.
Clown him if you want. You got 5 seconds. Clown him if you want to.
No, he wasn't going to get it.
What was it?
Spontaneity.
Okay.
Okay. he got it.
No support.
I
over
was
here.
so unsure
Team
about
dark
that.
skin.
But when I have too much of that, it doesn't. I don't like it. I don't work well with it because then it gets in the way of different things. There's no real, there's no real rules and regulations. And I feel like and I don't like the tit for tat shit. So if I do something and now you do it, right? But I didn't know it was a rule.
You shouldn't have tatted. I mean, you should have titted it.
No, but because I didn't know it was a rule.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that's something
okay,
that was gonna
okay.
make you upset. You get me? But if you said, yo, Rico, don't come home at 4 a.m. and I come home at 4:15, I know I did it.
You better expect that tat.
No, I still don't want the tat. But I'm like, I know I'm wrong though. But if we
Yeah.
never spoke about it and I did it,
Exactly.
and now you're on my line bugging or you're in my face bugging, I'm like, but we never had an agreement.
It's really just like rules of engagement.
Yep.
In any relationship that you have, whether it's business, whether it's like educational when you're in school and how you interact with your professors or whatever, with your spouse, even with your siblings. Like, I have boundaries in things that I allow and what I don't allow with my siblings, because you don't get to talk to me like you talk to your wife, or how you talk to your mama, or how you talk to your kids. Period. You just don't, because that's just not how my life is set up. And if we can't agree on that, and that's fine, then we can't talk, I guess. And I think that even though it sounds harsh, I think that that's the healthiest way for people to what's the word? Move in life.
Yeah.
I guess when you have the boundaries and you have rules and you have things that kind of keep shit
Things
in
in
place.
balance.
Yeah, it keeps
Yeah.
things in balance. Because it's like, if I already told you, or no, not if I told you, if we have agreed,
Yeah.
both of us have agreed that X equals Z, then X needs to equal Z until we agree otherwise.
Yeah.
You understand? And the rules of engagement are, and y'all, anybody can comment or whatever on this, but I think when we think about rules of engagement, we always think about business. But our marriages are business. The way we run our homes, they're businesses. You know what I mean? Even as friendships, we have rules of engagement with our friendships, with our parents.
For everything.
Like, you know what your mama can't come to you about, because you know what her shortcomings are. You know what your daddy can't come to you about, because you know the kind of shit that he was on. You know what I mean? So it's like those are all rules of engagement. Even though there may be different nomenclature and like terms or phrases or whatever, we all sort of look at these as all being rules of engagement, and all relationships in our lives require rules of engagement.
I said this too because
You gotta
the
ask.
most peaceful relationship that I've ever had
Rules.
I had rules by day 30. I was like, yo, listen,
Rico scares me, y'all.
this is how it has to be. And it was agreed upon from
I'm
the
okay
rip.
with it.
And that's why I never had an issue with her.
Be moving like a tyrant to me.
We only had one or two real fights, right? Now, then I've had other relationships which were good relationships, but there was no rules that were set up from the get-go. You know what happened? We got too caught up enjoying each other's moments and enjoying each other's company, where we didn't even think about it. We just ended up in a relationship because we had so much fun together and we felt like we vibed and we clicked. But guess what? There was no structure.
Yeah.
There was no grounding. There was no foundation. So then when shit started going out of whack, we're like, well, hold on, time out. You can't do that. Well, then you can't do this. And then it became a petty battle, right? Rather than a clear understanding from the very beginning. And that's why I don't believe in, remember we had a clip back in the day talking about intentional dating. Intentional dating requires setting the rules going forward within this relationship. But the problem is majority of people, or a lot of people, don't even know who they are, what boundaries they really have. Some of their boundaries they've adopted from other podcasts or from other people.
Or other relationships.
Shit don't even work for them.
Or they're actually scared to have those conversations. Like, the craziest thing to me, which I don't fucking understand, like, how are you scared to have conversations about things that directly affect your life? They directly affect your everyday, whatever the hell you doing.